few things that you would feel that you would need as a cellist from this, like the angle, if you need to be stationary, that rocking business, like can you list just general things?
So the angle, the big thing for me when I'm positioning myself is that everything needs to be able to be a little bit adjusted for your comfort, for like your posture. So everything, I don't know, like you lean into it more sometimes. I guess it would have to be supported enough so you could lean into it a little bit, and then also, be able to move a little bit side to side
because your knees aren't there.
And as you so I think if it was attached more like at the hip or something, so that it could move side like rocking back and forth with you, because as you play, like you'd want to lean more into one string sometimes. Or
are there any concerns you'd have with any sort of device in terms of resonance or safety?
That's a good question. The best thing for resonance would the best thing for resonance would be for it to be attached down here by the end pin. There's like a button here that you could attach some sort of cord to, or some sort of elastic. I don't know. I would be wary of attaching anywhere else because of the body of the instrument, and there's nothing else to really hold on to. These wouldn't be stable enough.
Now, would you? I mean, because like your instrument is your baby, and I know that it's like fragile. So this is a possibility of a point of attachment.
Yeah. Or like around here, maybe like around the tailpiece under.
This is solid enough.
I think so, because this has a metal.
Yeah.
These have metal cords here. Metal.
What if there was something that cut across here and up here? You would say that would be no? Because of the resonance, or because
it's
of
a
the
really fragile part,
fragile?
Because there's a sound post right under the bridge that needs to be standing up. So that's basically keeping the body open. And
what about something attached here? Is this attached weakly, or is this?
That's a possibility.
So basically,
this is a strong point. Yeah, basically the strong points of the cello. Yes, I would say here, but nothing like in the body of the instrument, because this is where the sound is happening
in the body. What about I don't know, safety to use? Any other concerns?
I guess the bridge is the most fragile, like this area. So like the bridge and the sound post are what you really want to look out for, because this can break very easily, the bridge, and then if the bridge breaks, this can fall and damage the instrument, and the sound post can fall. So like that's the thing we're always most wary of. As far as the back, I guess that's kind of the same. The sound post goes all the way through, but it's a little more solid.
So it would be a concern for choreography as well, so just be aware of this area.
Yeah.
And who you're dancing near.
I would say so. And the bow, of course, so you don't want to let poke anybody. So I guess that's the main thing.
How much I know it's a wide range, but how much are the average cello? Because I don't know if these students would know. Yeah, like for example yours. I mean, what are they trying to take care of here? You know what I mean? What are they trying to adapt, and what's the reason that they need to be so careful with it? Like how much did your cello?
Oh, how much did it cost? Mine was $1,500. They can range anywhere to like student cellos are like a couple hundred, or they can range like much more.
How about the students that are here? They're mostly in the $1,000 range or higher.
Probably.
Okay.
I would guess.
So they need to factor in that these are valuable materials that they would be
valuable and sometimes fragile, and but also a lot of times they're replaceable. And scratching is another thing that like mine has a little. This is only a year. Was it 2 years old? 2 years old. But so it's a couple little just like cosmetic things, but. As I said, like if the bridge falls, then these metal parts can fall and scratch there, and that's not as
even for if they were to attach something anywhere, scratching would be a concern too.
I would think so. But if you have things like felt or something covering, for that. Oh, and also that's another materials. That's another good. Any sort of like metal will probably cause it to buzz. Because any of this metal, if this gets loose at all, this buzzes and it makes the whole instrument buzz, and like there's it's bad. So I would say if you're attaching anything to the instrument, like it can be metal, but just make sure it's like wrapped in something or like muffling any contact.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What about the scroll? How fragile is the scroll?
It's fairly sturdy.
Which is
this part right up here, where all the tuning pegs are. I would say, yeah, don't have anything like touching these tuning pegs because that's what's controlling the intonation of the instrument. This area up here.
Yeah.
I think this is like fairly solid. I wouldn't like really worry about bumping into things. I don't know, whatever. But like
what if something was attached up here?
Oh,
would you think that's unsafe?
Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm. So just in terms of if it was to bump, that would be bad.
Yeah, because that would definitely affect the intonation because that's affecting all the pegs up here. It'd probably make something slip. But this part in here, I would avoid just because, again, if any of these, like, if the strings are hit up here or whatever, that wouldn't work too well. But I've seen cellos break. There's usually a seam. I don't know if mine does. But sometimes there's a seam up here and a seam at the neck, like just different pieces of wood. And right here, this is usually a different piece of wood from the body of the instrument, so that's another like stress point where it could possibly, like I've seen cellos break here before at the neck because
So putting all the weight on here might not be the best.
It might not be for all the weight. Although it's fairly sturdy. I think it's just if it falls, that's like a point where the whole neck could come off if that,
Yeah.
So like I can rest all the weight of the instrument right here if I wanted to, but I would say the best thing would probably be to balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
And also if you had the whole weight here, I just don't think it'd be very, like you wouldn't be able to control very much side to side or anything. Like it would be very unstable this way, I would think.
Right, that side to side motion.
That's the other thing. Is we need a lot of like. So we need a lot of space. Like the range of motion is basically anywhere in here, like.
So you couldn't have anything to obstruct it if you're going.
So yeah, from here to here.
So you need to have that range of motion.
I need this range of motion.
Your arm.
And then all the way up to here. So it's sort of a big bubble.
How about your left arm?
The left arm's a little more flexible. It's like so. We need to be able to do stuff like that.
So if there's any sort of attachment to your body,
it would have to be
some form of strap,
something around around the shoulder and the back, not obstructing the shoulder, especially the elbow
too.
Yeah,
just resting there. So I don't know what
your
comfort zone is with that.
Yeah, it might be hard if there was something strapped onto the left shoulder. Well, but it'd be hard on the right shoulder too, so I don't know. So, the right shoulder definitely needs more like range and more mobility, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about since this is different, this lower half of your body is very different. Normally, your knees would be here, correct?
Normally, the knees would be around the instrument like that.
So you would be unaccustomed to anything down here supporting the instrument, but it's still... as a cellist, I'm trying to gather, do you see something that's in this top area connected to you, or do you see something that's on the bottom connected to the ground? And what's more comfortable for you in terms of safety?
Well, yeah, the thing with it being connected to the ground is you can't control, or I feel like it'd be harder to control the distance between this angle here. Yeah, because that needs to be stable. Okay. So that we can lean it, because you know how we put an end pin in and stuff like that. The end pin always has to be in a stable spot, because that's what we're leaning all of our weight onto, and so we can have mobility here. So I would say, what I'm picturing right now is either a strap that went from the tailpiece or the end pin up to the shoulder somehow, or the waist. But what I'm worried about is how do you do that and then also maintain this distance here, because that's really important. It can't just be hanging.
Yeah.
It needs to be actually kept out a little bit.
Yeah, be supported this way.
So I don't know.
Something.
I mean, this is an option, but I don't know.
It could theoretically work, but it could also be a hindrance as well. If that's
well, if you had something like keeping.
Yeah.
If they had something like maintaining this distance between my waist and the cello or something like that. Either some sort of like pad or some sort, you know what I mean, like a pillow even. So something like that. That would be.
So that could be a possibility, but
I don't know.
Would still have to be careful of this.
Yeah.
Center of the body.
Yeah, I just have to be soft and make sure there wasn't a lot of impact. But like, I don't think that would be really an issue. I don't know.
Trying to think if you had any like specific desires for this. What would you list at all? Would you want it to? I mean, the flexibility thing is something that.
I guess the main thing is to make sure the arms are still mobile. Because if we're at all holding on to the instrument, or if we're feeling like it's not stable,
you're gonna want to.
Then it's not going to be. It's going to be really tense.
So when you're playing, all your weight is pushing downwards, like essentially.
Yeah, like it needs to be stable. So it needs to be stable enough here. I'm trying to think how I can put this. Well, why don't I like sit and actually show? Okay. So this has a rug. This room has a rug. I'll show you. So my end pin, it's like a sharp metal stick that's being held up by the rug, or we'll have like a strap if there's no rug or something. But it has to stay right there, like in the rug. If this moves around a lot, it's really hard to play. And then basically, it has a contact with the floor, contact with my knees, which whatever, and then contact right here in the middle of the chest. But like, anyway, but it needs to be stable enough in the floor that this is all. I'm not holding onto it here, not even really with my knees, but I'm guiding it. I'm keeping it in place with my knees, but not like in a tense way. Anyway, so yeah. So I guess this is the most important point of stability is the bottom of it. For the way we
if there
play.
is no connection to the floor and it's standing, that could also be an issue.
It could.
It could be the best prototype, but it could also be not the best prototype.
But then again, I mean, if you think back to like how cellists used to play, like cellists didn't always used to have end pins, so they used to always, like in the Baroque period, up until like Mendelssohn, they used to play like this.
Oh, they support it with their ankles.
Support it with it just used to be like between the knees, and but that's less resonance also. So that's the other. I think that's why they did the end pin thing, to get the instrument to resonate more. So. Anyway, that's just something to keep in mind I don't know. I think it's possible to have it not connected to the floor. I just think it would have to be stable enough in a way that you could lean into it. That's
connected to the floor. Yeah, that's what, say it was on some sort of wheeled platform or something like that, would you be worried if, like, leaning into it, of it sliding as you're,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is the distance has to be stable. So the thing is...
Because you wouldn't be able to control that.
Yeah. Well, what if you had, like, a wheel... what if it was on a wheel, but then that was a fixed distance from your body, the wheel? You know what I mean? So if this was, like, sturdy, like, into the floor, but it never, like, got away from you, like, it never, like, got further from you? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Can you get close to the camera and be at a side? And just right now, just to demonstrate that amount of angle, get like closer. Like, so what? That would be like the appropriate angle there. I might actually measure this with like a protractor someday, but I don't know. Is it supposed to be 45? I don't remember.
It's whatever's comfortable. There's a lot of people. Some people play farther down. Some people.
So it would be wise so that the angle could be adjusted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this angle here.
So now let's try where I'm holding here. You've got it with your left hand? Trust me.
Try to adjust. Okay.
desk sort of thing, like your leg is like just like lift one leg straight, sort of, or something like that, like or out behind you. Like this. Still like leaning on this. Okay. So can you back up a little bit now? Basically, something. Just spin around here. Just want to demonstrate this. Does that feel like an appropriate angle, or is it too weird? It's a little head up. Yeah. Okay. So you're moving. So raise up this mobility. Can you do any other demonstrations of mobility? On your boat, like play
a little bit side to side, maybe, because we move boats.
Oh, okay. I don't know. So it needs to be able to go
sort
in
of
all
to sort of
directions.
tip a little bit and not like
To
be
go
able to
with
be
you.
controlled. That's the thing, is usually our knees are there too.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
you're not
like
cradling.
when I move when I play,
Mm-hmm.
I can
You
change.
cradle it with you.
Yeah, yeah. I can lean to one side or the other and have it move with me. But
Okay.
if it was attached to the hips,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you could just move a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can I here? Let's do.
So
Mm-hmm. Okay. Or maybe like facing this way. Just see what that's like. Okay. Can I have you? I don't know. It doesn't have to be in tune if you choose. But like, just play at some sort of scale, and I'll. Can we now have you be like just moving casually, like you can walk around the room with it. That's good, probably. And how about? As a cello major,
Yeah.
in music education, are there places where these engineer students could look up the typical distance that it should be from the? From the player?
I'm sure there's stuff online
Do you
and
have
stuff,
an
but just the thing you need
estimation,
to
do you
know.
think?
Yeah. So if you look, I mean, it really depends on like a lot of things, but it depends on people's bodies and how they're shaped, and also on the chair too, because if the chair is higher up, then everything needs to be higher up.
And it gets altered.
There's a lot of different variables with the angles. But
So
I would say
this sort of device would have to be able to be altered depending on the player.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And the
You
instrument.
definitely have to be adjustable to the player, adjustable in length. Like my end pin here. I mean my rack strap. So this is what we use to like keep our end pins in place if we're using a floor without a rug. So this thing is adjustable from, I don't know, how long is this? A couple feet? 3 feet maybe? Maybe 3 feet. All the way up to like a foot or whatever. So yeah, I guess that's like a general, but you would never really, like if I'm in a tall chair, I might use the whole thing. It's about this long, or I don't know. Yeah, I guess adjustability is the key, flexibility and. But yeah, and everyone just has different preferences too as to like how they like it to fit. So there's no real set, but yeah. So I'd say, how far do I have it out now? Maybe 2.5 feet, 3 feet. Okay. From like the
Legs of the chair.
legs of the chair. But some people play with it at a very high angle. Some people play at a very low angle. But
Mm-hmm. Are there any other things you can think of that you would want someone working on this project to know?
Yeah, I guess just to feel free to ask questions and feel free to, I don't know, like, it's fragile, as we've talked about, but I think as long as you avoid those certain areas, I know it's probably tricky, but just to like keep resonance in mind, keep materials in mind, and it should be okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.